Brenda should be getting on here in a second, because um, Joanna is flying back from Miami right now. So, welcome everybody to the week 9. If you're going to be watching this recording, week 9 of 10. Noelle and I have been just talking for the past 10 minutes, probably good stuff that you have said that other people would use and get a lot of benefit from too. But we were talking about like routines and hard to get up early in the morning, and she was talking about how, oh, well, be able to spend time with my husband at night because he works so late, and to be able to chill and that type of thing. And so we're talking about taking care of ourselves versus always putting other people first, because we'll just have a lot more benefit with it. So I had talked to a client earlier this morning with the same type of guilt or feeling, like quite a bit. And it reminded me of from this 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John Maxwell. He had said the greatest gift that you can give to someone else is your own personal development. And I used to say, if you will take care of me, I will take care of you. And now I say, I will take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. Right? I will take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. Like, we know that when we take care of ourselves, and we were talking about like the morning routine and stuff, and Noelle was just saying that, she knows that when she wakes up earlier and is able to get all that stuff done, then she is a better person. And she just, the workflow, the family flow, the mentality, like all that stuff is so much, it just runs so much smoother and better when she does that type of thing. And so that's what brought us to this. I will take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. So did I miss anything with a little synopsis of what you were talking about, Noelle, that you think other
No,
people
I think
would
that's good.
benefit from? So I thought April was getting on, but I don't know. And Brenda said she was getting on after her meeting. But we'll just kind of go into some recaps and stuff like what we are going to go through for the day, because this is our 9th session. 9 out of 10, which is crazy. I feel like sometimes it's so long, and then other times it's like, whoa, that really wasn't very long at all, right? So we've talked about like routines a ton, right? If you have gotten nothing from this, like having routines really sets you up to have so much more success in everything, right? Your habits make a difference. I'm doing some different things with like finances and making sure that I'm budgeting right and planning right and saving right. And I'm like, holy cow, like I'm way more disciplined with my money right now. And I was like, look at all this extra that I have in these different accounts for like, okay, an emergency type fund on the personal side as well as on the business side. And then also saving for the kids' sports and vacations and having that chunk of money, like that kind of thing. And I was like, I didn't think that there was that money like there, but I've been able to kind of switch things around to be able to do it and pay stuff off and be able to be, because of more of the discipline and the habits and the routine and the plan, like now I have more in these different buckets that I didn't have before. And that's the same thing with our health and our nutrition and our wellness and work and all things, right? If we have a plan and then we have routines and those become habits, then everything just falls into place so much easier. And we were also talking about like when your inspiration and your motivation kind of run thin, you have to be able to fall back on your habits, right? Because we can't be inspired forever or motivated forever, and we have these ups and downs and things like that. But when that motivation runs thin, that's when discipline kicks in, right? So we've talked a ton about routines and habits, planning our food, planning for the week, right? Planning workouts, making commitments to things that we're going to do each week, evaluating where we are and like rating. Here I am on a scale of 1 to 3, for 1 being like, I'm not doing too hot in this area, or it's happening less than 10% or less than 25% of the time. A 3 would be I'm doing pretty awesome in this area, because perfection is just, it's not attainable. We don't have to be perfect. Like, that's not something that we want to strive for. We want to strive for excellence, but not perfection. So doing our habits like, oh, good. Doing our habits 25% of the time, or 75% of the time or more, or 90% of the time or more, puts us in a really good place, right? And so we've learned how to rank where we are when it comes to our morning fitness, nutrition, and evening routine. We've created a little bit of a community here. I know that you guys have a lot going on, and so some people are jumping in late or missing weeks or different things, but I truly believe that you can count on me and each other and be able to put ideas, hi April, put ideas, like give ideas and share things with each other to be able to help each other reach goals and those type of things, and then accountability. So I was just giving a recap. April, you can go back and watch the first part of the recording if you want. Noelle and I were just talking beforehand, and then I recapped that and then just went over what we've been going over these past 8 weeks, because we're in week 9 of 10, which is kind of crazy. Next week will be the last week of this group. I know it seems like it went really fast, and then also kind of, I don't know if it went a little bit slow for anybody, but it's like, wow, how did that already happen?
No, I think it went pretty fast. I mean,
Pretty fast. There's something to be said for, there's some people that say, like, when you have certain habits or routines, like it takes 21 days to kick in or 30 days to kick in. I've read something a while ago and I really like it, where it was more 66 days to be able to kick in. Because we can do anything for a couple weeks, right? Or even 30 days to be like, I can stick to something for 30 days. I can have that much willpower. But really, when it starts becoming more of a habit is just after that 2-month time frame, that 66 days. I think it might have been James Clear in Atomic Habits that said that really stuck out to me. So that's why I like this being more of a 10-week program and over 60 days instead of just a 30-day type thing, or a 4 weeks or a 5 weeks type thing. Because if you guys are getting into the habit of writing out, like planning out, okay, what are my meals? What do I have going on this week? When am I fitting in my workouts? It's chaos. There's stuff happening. I'm skiing. I've got kids. I've got whatever. Like, what do I need to do to prep for that? Like, and you're doing it every week for 10 weeks, that's becoming a habit. That's becoming a system. And once again, once that motivation runs thin, that's where the discipline kicks in. So keep doing this. The more that you do it, of course, the more routine it's going to be. And you don't even realize that it's something weird or out of the ordinary. It's just how you live your life. And that's what so many people are like, how do you, like, you always do these things, or you always have this food planned, or you get your workouts in, or you do this? I'm like, because it's just become part of who I am. It's not something that I have to think about or work on as hard. Yes, sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to do that, or do I have to? And I'm like, well, you know what happens when you don't. So get your tail in gear and get it, right? Like, you just know. So what we're going to do today is also talk about wins for the week, and then some ahas that you've had over the past 8 weeks, like things that have really spoke to you that you want to be able to continue doing. Like, what has worked, or what have you seen, like, ooh, there's some positive stuff to this. What can I do that I want to continue on? And then also, what do you feel like is still possibly missing, or something that you need more help with? Okay, so we'll talk about that. Hi, Brenda.
hi.
And of course, we'll I'm just going over what we're doing for the rest of today. And then we'll, of course, plan your week with your meals and your fitness and your commitments. And then I'll talk to you about like moving forward next steps and kind of what next week looks like too. So I'll recap that real quick and we'll have Brenda go last. But I've already recapped what we've gone over for the whole last 8 weeks, right? And then today, right now, we'll go over wins for the week, any ahas for the past 8 weeks that you've had, what you found that works for you, and that you'll continue doing, and then what you feel like you still need, or if there's something missing or you need more help with or more of. Okay, so those are the big things. I forgot to put my dog in her kennel, and she's like, get out of mom's office to the other dog. She's a little alpha. And then we'll talk. So, Noelle, let me start with you, and you can recap a little bit of what you said at the beginning that wasn't in the recording that we were talking about, if you'd like, or you can skip over some stuff, whatever. But give me some wins for the week first and ahas for the past 8 weeks that you have.
Yeah, okay. So my win for the week was I actually read half of that book, Miracle Morning. I been on my list of commitments since week 1, and I finally did it. Week 8. Sometimes it takes. And then my other win, I feel like last night I was at the grocery store with my daughter because I was like, this is what we're getting for dinner. We're gonna get roasted vegetables and we're gonna have salmon because that's what your dad wants. And she was like, oh, I hate vegetables. Can we please get this? Can we get that? Can we get this? Can we get that? It's pie day tomorrow. Can we get a pie? Can we get I was like, no. I was like, this is what we're having. Red onions, Brussels sprouts, and sweet potatoes. She's like, I don't like any of those. And I was like, okay, what vegetables do you like? She goes, carrots. I was like, fine, we'll throw some carrots in there too.
Good.
That is a win.
So I feel like I'm like, it's finally clicking. Like I want my kids to be healthy. And in order for them to be healthy, I need to show them that I'm making good choices. Not normally I would have just cooked a whole separate meal. I'd been like, okay, this is what your dad and I are having, and you guys can have spirit, or I'll make you like chicken tenders or something like that, you know. But so I think that was a big win for me, like just to kind of just say, no, this is what we're having.
Right. And how was it?
It was well, I got my calendar screwed up, so I actually had to leave before they ate. But both said they ate all of it, so it was good. Yeah, so you know, I think it's just a matter of being consistent and you know, teaching my kids those good habits that I didn't necessarily grow up with. So
yeah, and it's the habits like for real. And then you're once the discipline, right? Like committing to make a change, and then it can turn into a habit. And then your taste buds also change too. And then you're craving those type of foods. And then that's when it's really so much easier to be like, okay, this is just what my body wants.
Like, no.
Right, but it's even better than like not all the fried food or different things. She's probably had.
I'm not buying it.
I'm telling you, Brenda. So I don't like raw. I'm never gonna eat vegetables raw necessarily unless they're like coated in ranch dressing or hummus or something like that. But if you season them and roast them, they're way better.
Right, and it doesn't have to be just vegetables, right? This can go for anything, but it's so huge, right? Brenda, do you wish that your parents might have like created some habits when you were younger?
Absolutely.
So that you could switch your taste buds.
Yeah, and I mean, at least Noelle has time with her kids. I'm already past it. They already have their bad habits.
Yep. But it's never too late to change, and you can make small changes. And then once that small change happens, you can then build on it. That's how we create better habits, right? Small changes over time. And then
Thanksgiving this year, Brenda, could all be like tofurkey and roasted vegetables.
Who knows? Let's see.
They'll be like, oh, great, we're going to Dad's.
I'm not on that one. I'm not on that tofurkey.
I'm not on tofurkey either. Not really real. Okay, so what ahas? Are there any other ahas that you feel like have really stood out to you that you want to continue doing?
I think the big aha I think was that I was not focusing at all on myself. Like for like 10 years, probably, maybe more. You know, I've focused a lot on my kids. I always try and make like a lot of time. I've created this job where I can come and go as I please, kind of. You know, I try and take care of my husband. I try and take care of my own personal development has not been present at all for like 10 years. So that's where I need to work. I'm gonna work on that. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I love it. It's hard, right? It's hard to come to that realization. But it's great to be able to have that awareness. And now I don't want to keep harping, but it's how you change, right? It's recognizing what you want to change, putting things into place to be able to make it so that you can make those changes. So with your personal development, having that routine in the morning, and part of that routine, because this is what you want for the personal development, you have to read personal development books and listen to those type podcasts. And I have a bajillion of them, right? So I have all of those recommendations, and it's really cool for different stages in life too, or where you're at, to be able to have that. Having those affirmations and speaking life over yourself and over others is a really big deal too, to also then make sure that we are putting ourselves first and making sure that we understand that we are worthy, right? Those affirmations and that silence and that visualization, they all just come together for that. But just like I told you, the greatest, I said this quote to Noelle, the greatest gift that you can give to someone else is your own personal development. I used to say, if you will take care of me, I will take care of you. And now I say, I will take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. Like, how beautiful is that, right? And so if you're watching the recording, you've now heard that like 3 times, but I had to say it again since you guys are on live here. So I think that personal development and personal growth is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves and for others. So awesome, Noelle. And then lastly, what are there things that you feel like you still need or want to work on, like the biggest things, and that might be the personal development, but want to really work on or focus on to be able to keep up or change?
Yeah, I mean, I think personal development, that's like a lifelong thing. What I really could use some help with though is still, and I am on your Facebook group, Lisa, but you have not been showing up in the morning at 6:30.
I know, because I can't. I know, but I will. Yes.
Good call, good call.
I need like 5 workouts. I need like, this is how you do your shoulder workout. This is how you do your arm workout. Here's how you do your leg workout. This is going to make your butt look amazing. And this is the ab workout. Like, that's what I need.
Okay. Sounds good. Yes, I know I haven't. I was on my the call. I know, you can call me out, it's okay. The call, because in that Olson Fitting on Fire Facebook group, once a month we are doing like a Zoom call like this, where I do a little bit of a training, but then it's also commitments and wins and just community and that kind of thing, which is the biggest part of that, right? But then it's also going live with some workouts, and you can go back to the recordings and be able to see them. Some are 20 to 30 minutes, some are 45 minutes, those type of things. The last couple of weeks I've definitely not been on. I got my irrigation cleanse for my teeth, that my wisdom teeth, last Thursday, because I was still in so much pain last week after eWomen. It was insane.
Well, I told you,
and
right? I could tell
was
by
brought to
looking at you.
tears. Yeah.
I had that.
Huh?
I had that too. I had this thing I just shoot up there in my wisdom teeth.
I was like, what the heck just happened in tears? So, but yes. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Cool. All right, April, Give me your wins for the week and ahas first. The wins and the wins for the week
Well,
and
I'm
ahas
gonna go
for the
backwards.
week.
I know you want the wins
Oh,
first, and I'm
okay.
gonna tell you my aha, which made me reach a win.
Okay.
So you were kind of touching on it. You know, we have, like, for me, I use a lot of structure in my business.
Mhm.
I have a routine that I work in my business, and therefore I feel that I'm successful in my business because of it.
Mhm.
And I never really did that for myself, like creating that routine. I used to work out pretty regularly, but I wasn't like creating meals and doing all the parts for me. So my aha moment was, okay, so why don't you create this routine for yourself?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which then came to the aha of having a good process and doing all the things. You can't have one piece missing.
Mhm.
You have to have all the steps.
Mhm.
So it's like finding prospecting to, you know, maintenance. There's a process.
Mhm.
And with yourself and your own health, there's a process. So
100%. Yeah, love
so
it.
that's kind of that. Now I still struggle with the fact that I would like to still lose weight, but it's not really going anywhere. And I feel like I am working out and I am eating decently and I am I've cut out a lot of different things to feel better. So that's, I mean, I also know that your body gets to a point where your body is happy at a specific weight, like it's a good weight for you. I do like what I see in the mirror much better than I did when I
Good.
started this. So
Good.
there's definite progress in that. And then I just tell myself, okay, well, you're building muscle. So muscle weighs more than fat does. So that scale's not moving because you're building this muscle and it'll take time. And so I am having those conversations. And the affirmations make such a huge difference. Just having that, remembering that, hey, you know, I enjoy the body that I'm creating. I enjoy how I feel, and it's not about always a scale.
Right.
So I
And
do
just
feel better, and I do feel like I look better. And my husband says, "Wow, look at them abs." I'm like, "Don't be looking at my abs."
that's awesome. Look
So
at them abs. That's awesome. That's so great. Like, and sometimes it takes a while, especially when we're older, for the weight to come off. And so when we focus on health first, that's why I'm not a huge like, okay, weight loss, all the things.
Right.
When we focus on health first, then the weight will come off. Like it
Right.
still will, and put you at like a lean, mean fight machine. Like the body will be able to be strong and do all the things that it needs to do. And when it's total health and especially consistent over time, the weight, I promise you, the weight will come off if it needs to come off, right? Sometimes we have this idea that, I don't know, I saw you, just the other day, even in the grocery store and at eWomen, and I'm like, what is she complaining about, right? But we can always be the worst critic, and I'm like, her ass
Exactly.
looks good, like her waist looks good, like what, like, so you look
But
good, you look
that
good.
and that's it's funny. I was listening to a podcast this morning and she was saying something similar. You know, we are our worst critics, and you can have somebody who's completely fit but have a full body dysmorphic issue. I kn-
100%.
I know I'm not in bad shape. I'm not. I just wanted to be healthier,
Mhm.
and I find it funny because I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school, the girls were 110 pounds, right?
Mhm.
And my husband just subbed at the high school, and he was the like not a gym teacher, but he was a weights teacher. And he had the girls in the class, and they're bench pressing, and he's like, "You could do more than that. Let's throw some more weight on there." And the girls are looking at him like he's crazy, and they do it, and they're like, "Wow." And then we know some of the parents, and the parents are like, "She was so excited that she could do that. You guys don't know what, or you don't know what you did for her, blah, blah, blah." And one of the girls, he was talking to, and he goes, "Well, you weigh like what, 120?" And she goes, "I weigh 140." And I'm like, "I weigh 140. and I'm 46 next month. And I'm like, okay, I'm obviously not as bad as I feel, but it's just not. I'm 5'3", and these girls are a little bit taller, so it just appears different, right? So it is the story you're telling yourself, and it is all the things. And I just have to go, you know what? I'm 46 years old.
Mhm.
And at 46, I look pretty dang good.
You do.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yep.
So
I
as long as
mean,
I'm eating healthy and I'm working out and I can move my body, I feel like I should be pretty proud of it.
100%. And that's the biggest focus. Can you do the things that you want to be able to do and need to do? Right. And with your body. And I know I've talked about it a lot, and I know you haven't done the 30-day program, but that is one that people see really good weight loss on, and where it's like,
I
for
would
women,
have done
huh?
it. I would have done it, but I did this,
You did
and then
this
I did a
instead.
coaching
Right.
podcast thing that was another $1,000.
Well,
and I
just
never
keep on
done
it, keep thinking about it. And if that's something, because like the average, I mean, when I was with my wisdom teeth and I had like 2 to 3 smoothies a day and like barely, and soup and stuff, I was still satisfied. I was still getting the nutrients. I was still, consuming food, but I lost like 5 pounds in a week. Right. And I'm like, oh, I ate real food this weekend and I'm up 2 pounds. Right. Like there's something with some meats and some foods and things that we don't digest as quickly to be able to get through our bodies. So it's like, okay, all right, the 2 pounds is fine, but let's kind of stay there and be like, let's really focus. Like, I know.
And that's the other issue. I'm talking about digestion. I don't have good digestion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. We need to do some.
Never have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. All righty. Miss Brenda, some wins, ahas, and then moving forward with, and
Yeah. I'm struggling this week. I had a really rough week. And it's my schedule and it's crazy and it's not going to get much better. So I need to figure it out. So I, just going back to last week, had stuff all day Tuesday, eWomen Wednesday, meetings and events and everything. Thursday, went up to eWomen Speakonomics, had that Friday and Saturday, worked all day Sunday. It's a cycle. So I'm having a hard time figuring out what to do. And I know we've talked about it, but I mean, when it's that many days in a row, like it's easy if I'm like, oh gosh, I have a full middle of the day. I need to bring my smoothie with me. I need to be prepared for whatever. When it's like 6 days straight, I'm like at a loss. And I'm kind of at the whim of what they're serving at the event and all of that. Especially, I mean, I stayed in a hotel Thursday night. I stayed at Renee Vivoda's on Friday night. Just like, I don't know what to do. So it's been rough. And then literally, like, I remember thinking, there I am at the hotel. I'm like, okay, I've been gone from my house since 7 this morning. Like, workout time, movement time. I mean, we're talking 7 a.m. to, then I'm at a hotel that night, which by the way, I wouldn't have even considered going near that floor. Like, gross. I don't know. I'm struggling with that, like how to get it to fit in weeks like that. And then I'm leaving again Monday and I'm gone all week. So I don't know. So, okay, that's what I'm struggling with. I'm having a really hard time even coming up with wins, except that I feel like we've established some patterns and routines. So when I'm given a meal, I focus on what I can eat and what I shouldn't eat. So there's that, a little bit to the extent that I can. Ahas. I'm going to go to the ahas because that is, I think, what I was just starting to talk about is the patterns. So for Nick and I both, okay, what are we going to have for dinner? What we've found is that when we plan ahead, even if it's not Sunday for the whole week, even if it's just like, okay, run into the grocery store, what are a few meals that we need this week? Or even, because we're good with lunch. We're pretty healthy here at the office. We actually choose really healthy. We have a lot of healthy options around here. Yeah. So that I'm not so worried about. But, if we talk about it early in the day, even, okay, what are we going to eat tonight? Do we need to pick something up? Do we have something at home? Like, what's that going to look like? So I feel like that's a huge aha.
Yeah.
The thing that I am struggling with the most, aside from what do I do on the crazy times when I'm traveling and on the go and all of that, is my sleep has been the worst that it's ever been in the last couple of weeks. And we're going on like at least 7 or 8 days of almost no sleep. And I was okay the first, I don't know how I got through Wednesday and Thursday and even Friday. It started to hit me Saturday and then Sunday. So I go to sleep just fine. I have no problems falling asleep. And then I'm awake by sometime between 3 and 3:30. And then so yesterday morning I woke up at 3:30 and I was like, well, at least I slept till 3:30. And then I realized that it was actually 2:30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and by the time I can go back to sleep, it's time to get up. Last night was the very first night that I only woke up for about 10 minutes during the night, went right back to sleep, but then I had to take Lauren to the hospital for some testing this morning. And so the alarm went off at 4:50. So it was the first night that I actually was starting to sleep, and then I had to be up then. And it's hit me hard today. I'm having a really hard time today functioning. So I think that's my biggest thing, is that I cannot function. How many days can you go with with 4 hours asleep of
Well,
sleep?
really, you just talked about your schedule for the past week.
Mhm.
6 days in a row was insane. So, like, the movement is different, the
Mhm.
food is different, staying at a hotel or other places is different, and then your sleep is off. So that all correlates. Where I'd find more concern with the sleep, and I don't know if there's something with the moon right now too, because I had somebody else who's been kind of some issues. I've been hearing
I
that a
didn't
little bit.
sleep well the last 2 nights either.
Right. And with
And
the
last
daylight
night
saving,
I
but
was up
like
3
there, it's
times throughout the night.
yeah, there's something going on with that, which I used to be like, whatever, that's weird.
Yeah.
But I really do think that it's legit, and it can be just like a okay, just like a little spurt of something. Okay. The part where I would really be more concerned is if this is continuing for like 2, 3, 4 weeks and being like, okay, my sleep, like something is going on, like I am not sleeping at all. But when all of it is correlated to like our water, to our stress, to our routines with our food, where we're sleeping, the darkness, the phone on, when, the last couple hours before you're going to bed, right? That type of thing, that all correlates with our sleep and our schedule. So the biggest thing, and that's something that we can focus on in the future too. I mean, it's great that you're understanding these routines, right? And you're like, okay, like planning ahead for the food, for your meals at dinner, together, and being able to pick and choose what you want to have like on your plate when you are out. That's huge. That's something you never have done. Like, well, I don't know
True.
about ever, but I haven't.
No, but off and on, but no, not consistently. You're right.
I haven't ever
Yeah.
really seen that too
Mhm.
much from
Yeah.
you, and I, see how you eat or where you're at, and then I've seen you eat out a little bit more so in the past, especially the past couple months, than maybe I have, excuse me, before that. And there's a more of a conscious decision making and thinking about, okay, what am I doing? So run with that. Like, we want to keep focusing on that and being like, what other little thing can I do to make sure that my health and my routines are in place, especially when we're super busy, right? Some things we cannot control. It's that circle of control stuff, right? Some things sometimes we cannot control it. But if we know in the future, or you're coming up on a huge week, like, what kind of snacks can I have that I can bring with me on these trips to ensure that I'm having better choices, more healthy choices, foods that I know my body does really well with, so that I can avoid these other things and be able to include these. Can I make sure that I'm drinking a whole lot more water? Can I make sure that I'm not overindulging in the sweets or the alcohol or the inflammatory foods? Like, all of that leads to the sleep and the stress as well. And when we don't sleep, then we don't make the better decisions. And then,
Exactly.
cave, and it's all just a spiral. So even if it's like planning a couple days in advance and then setting an alarm in your phone to be like, okay, I got Sunday to Tuesday. Let me put in there on Tuesday, like, hey, plan for Tuesday to Friday, to be like, let me take 5 minutes to evaluate what I just did, especially when you're going to be on this trip for a long time, right? For
Mhm.
10 days. Let me just evaluate what worked, what didn't work, what can I do? What could I add more of to be able to make this easier? Go ahead.
One of the things that I find when I have those crazy weeks where it's just pure chaos, and the only reason I've started doing this is because my son is he'll be 20 this week, and he's like fitness, he's like, I'm gonna work out.
Yeah.
And he works out nonstop, so he's always like, I need food, and I'm like, okay, well, what I've been doing is on Saturday or Sunday, usually Sunday, I usually do my grocery shopping, unless I saw you that week because we had a crazy weekend. So I'll buy a bag of chicken breasts, and my husband always hates because they're so thick, and then I cut them in half and I grill them, do whatever I'm going to do with the whole package. There's only 3 of us. I don't need the whole package. But if I have it, I
Mhm.
can add it to a bag of salad. I can add it to a soup. I can add it to whatever, and it's something versus, and that's what's nice at night, because I am really, really awful when it comes to going, let me get something out for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
I'm
We've
like,
been
that's
doing
what I
more
have
of that
to do
too,
hot
and we have an
for.
air fryer that's been great. The air fryer it's so quick to cook chicken.
So quick.
My problem is when, I mean, I wasn't home for dinner almost
Yeah.
any day last week.
Yeah.
So I'm out and about. It's not like I can just,
Give yourself some grace too, because we
Yeah.
don't want to focus on so many one-off situations,
yeah.
right? I know that
True. I
you're
would say the
crazy.
sleep
but-
issue is, if Nick came in here, he would tell you that the sleep issue has been going on weeks, maybe months. It's just this last week has been probably the worst. And so I do need to figure out what's causing that.
Okay. I can do
Because
some resources too, because I have a
Okay.
naturopathic doctor that I follow a lot,
Okay.
who has been, and that's why I'm kind of like, there's something going on. She's been really talking about sleep a whole lot lately, and
Okay.
even recommended like
Okay.
a magnesium, just pure magnesium supplement,
Oh.
to be able to help with sleep as
Do you
well.
use Calm?
I don't use anything, but like
I
there's an
don't, but I know
inner
Betsy used to
calm.
recommend it.
Calm's
Mhm.
good. I like Calm.
Yeah. And here's the thing though, a lot of people have trouble going to sleep. I have no trouble going to sleep.
It's just
I don't
same.
either.
I am out cold, and my kids will even tell you I have a pattern. If they make too much noise, like around a certain time, like after 1 o'clock in the morning. So I will sleep really well for 3 or 4 hours. And then after that, I just can't sleep anymore.
Yeah.
And someone just told me, they're like, that is actually insomnia too. I don't think about it like that, just, because I can't sleep during the night, or I can't
I
sleep.
have
for
one
3 or 4
supplement
hours.
that Arbonne has that I take, and that my kids will even take, and it's called an Intercom, and it has the ashwagandha and different things in there too. But if there's some that other like
Yeah.
Betsy or April,
My hormones are all crazy, and I think that that's probably part of it. I just need to get it in order, because it's hard to be motivated to
right,
work out or eat
Right.
well or any of those things when you're.
Right.
You mentioned alcohol, and I was around a lot of alcohol in the last week, and that's just not a big deal for me. I mean, because my body doesn't, I can't, whatchamacallit, alcohol anymore. What's the word?
you're kind of like getting reactions, and
Whatever.
all.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
it's rare that I can be just fine, like you talked about before, in a social setting, and I've barely had any alcohol in the last week, because
Good.
my sleep is even worse when I
Yeah.
drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about some of these issues that you guys are having too. I don't want to say issues, but like
No,
struggles,
it is.
right, and things.
Challenges.
With that one-on-one, let's schedule that 30 minutes, because I still am wanting to do that from the week that we missed with my wisdom teeth. So I know I have April scheduled, but like Noel look at next week that you said, and Brenda look for just 25 minutes that we can get,
Okay.
20 to 30 minutes that we can like dive deep into some individual stuff. So, because I want to give you like just a few minutes really quick before I go into like what I wanted to share for moving on, but take like 2, 3, 4 minutes max here to let's look at your week and be like, okay, what do I have coming up? What can you plan? Like make those things right now, write them down, look at your schedule. What do you have going on? And Brenda, a lot of stuff for dinners too, because I know you like the smoothies. Like make
Mhm.
that a go-to. If things are crazy, make that a go-to.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how I can take stuff with me next week.
Mhm.
I have my protein packets, but I need a little more than that.
Right. And I know Krista, you'll be spending time with her, make her bring her blend jet or get
Well, I
one.
have one.
Oh, you have one. Like to
Yeah.
be able to have that with you. And Kyla, Kyla, right? Greenfield,
Uh-huh.
she's on the road all the time, and she
Yeah.
does so well in like making sure that whenever she goes somewhere, she goes to the
Yes.
grocery store or the convenience store right there and is able to be like, okay, I've got my snacks and I've got my
Yep.
stuff for my
She
smoothies.
does. The difference between her, though, is that she generally drives wherever she goes
But
and then
she will still fly and she will
does.
go and she
still
look.
figures it out.
Oh yeah, because we've been working together now for a long time, and
Yeah.
we found a way to be like, okay, get to the store or have groceries delivered to you.
Delivered to you. Conference last year, I had groceries delivered to me the first day because then I knew that I had healthy snacks for the week.
Yep.
In Dallas.
Yep. Or if you feel like you're done, think about what are my commitments for the week? What am I really going to focus on this week? Like Noelle, I feel like your main focus, get up earlier. You're the one that's, huh?
I was gonna start that next week.
That sounds amazing. No. Even if it's just like 15 minutes or something, just to get
What time do you get up?
15 minutes earlier. Yeah.
What time do you get up?
I usually get up around like between 6 and 6:30. And I only do that because I
Get up earlier than that?
me.
Depends on when your
Yeah,
day starts. She's got to get her kids to school, do this, do that. Like
I'm up at
7:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
And
No, I
lately
know.
I've been up at 5 just because my eyes open. So that's lack of sleep. My eyes never open before my alarm goes off. And this last few days, I'm like,
a little time change thing. Yeah.
This last 2 weeks, it's been kind of like
I'm just getting back to sleep at 5. So if I could sleep from 5 to 6:30, I'm thrilled because that's at least some time because that's usually only 3 hours before. So yeah, that.
You might need to go to bed earlier too.
you guys missed the first like 10 minutes, but I did say, I know my day would be better if I got up earlier.
That's why I called her out.
that's why she said it.
Mhm.
So
Well, I thought
Hard.
it, and
I
then
have
my body
breakfast,
woke me
lunch,
up.
and dinner event on Thursday. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like,
I know. Are you going to that networking thing on Thursday?
I am planning on it. Are you going?
I've brought a smoothie in there before.
Have you?
I have, but they have
They
good
have some
options up
decent
there too.
salads in there,
They have
though,
really
don't
good
they?
salads there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's fine. Don't be afraid to bring your own stuff. Sorry, this doesn't fit my dietary needs right now. It's very simple. All right. So I do want to just talk about like moving forward. We will have our session next week that I have a little something fun to planned, as well as still doing some good work to be able to keep going towards your progress and towards your goals in those type of things. But next week is our last session as a group. So makes me sad. I've loved getting to know you guys and being on this journey with you, but I know that we're putting some really good things in place, and it's just continuing. It's not just okay, now I'm done and then we're going to be done. that's not how we that's not how we work with our work schedule, with our health schedule. Like, I love what you said, April. It's 100%. And so for me, like, I'm really good with my health stuff and planning and doing all that. And sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you know exactly how to do these routines and these habits. Like, you should do that for work stuff too. Like, you know, so it can go both ways, and think about where am I? Like, what are the things that I do in the places where I see success? How could I be able to that, or like shift that, or take parts of that to use for the things that I'm not as successful at? Because the foundation is probably the same. Like, I had somebody who, sorry, just go on tangents and stories, but I had somebody who's a professor, like a college professor, and she took this, you know, before, and she can plan out an entire semester, and she can make changes for that semester each month or each week or each day, like that, right? That's just so normal for her to be able to do. And I'm like, you are really, really, really good at that. How can you do that just with your health? It's the same type of idea, but you know how to plan, you know how to block, you know how to set goals in those areas where you are successful. So do that for the same areas where you're not successful. That's just a little something that I found, and you know, it's a good aha for what April said too. So anyway, so you have a couple different options if you want to move forward working with me. And I'm very flexible to be like, oh, this is what I think would work really well for you. And we can talk about this personally and stuff too. Or here's, you know, my recommendations or whatever. If you feel like you're good and you don't need anything, like, that's fine. You can always come back to me if you do need something. But my goal is to teach you habits that you can do for life. Like, my goal is not to be like, I need you for the rest of your life and you have to come work with me, right? That is not my goal. My goal is to help you be able to stay accountable to yourself and create those habits. I do know that it's really hard to stay accountable to yourself. So that's why there are options available. So I first have that Olson Fit and On Fire Facebook group, where the big bulk of it is that once a month, it's the first Monday is what I've done, and it'll be most of the Mondays. Sometimes they're a little off, but first Monday of the month at noon Mountain Time, and it's an hour and it's also recorded, but you're coming on and I'm doing a little bit of a training when it comes to the 5 pillars of the health and wellness stuff for the Olson Fitness system, right? With nutrition, exercise, habits, accountability, and keeping things fun. And then we're doing like, what are your wins? What are your commitments? What are we looking for? And Q&A type stuff. And then it's also being able to follow along with some workouts and things that I will go live in and post in that group. So if you want to just do that, it's a $49 monthly subscription to be able to do that. And you can cancel it at any time. But the biggest benefit people have seen are, oh, I can pick a workout here or there, but also that Zoom once a month and being live with me. And then the other option, that this is the people that do this see the best success because it's 100% catered to them, and it's working individually with me one-on-one. And most of it is via Zoom, but we can also do it in person too. So like the most common package that people do is you're getting 10 25-minute sessions. You can combine those into 50-minute sessions or keep them at the 25-minute sessions, but you get 10 of those 25-minute sessions for $4.99. And we can do 100% just health coaching, where it's meeting for 25 minutes once a week, where it works with our schedule. It doesn't have to be exactly the same every week. If it is consistent, that's great. But we just find the time that works for us via Zoom, where we're talking about all those 5 pillars, the problems, the stuff specific to you, the struggles, and what your goals are and your commitments are. Some people will use that time to be able to do a workout also. And I'll have people come and they'll combine and be like, I'm doing a 50-minute workout with you. You come to my house in my basement and we set up the time that works for us as well. And I can do those workouts, give you those workouts, and you do those workouts too. And then I have people that do a combination of that, where it's like, okay, I get my workout and then I also have a health coaching session, right? So those are the 2 options that I have for moving forward. And people, you know, or you're moving forward on your own, and that's fine too. But I just wanted to give you guys that idea so you can think about it with what you think might work best, and we can always talk about it too. But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of those things. But my goal 100% is to give you the tools to be able to do a lot of this stuff on your own by yourself, that type of thing. Cool. So that's where we're at for this week. Next week, please come on. For sure, it's our last session as a group, and I have some cool stuff planned, and it'll be a really good session next week at 11. And then if you haven't scheduled your time frame for that one-on-one, and then that'll actually give you, I didn't do this with my last group, but that'll give you an idea of, okay, what do these one-on-one sessions really kind of look like, so you can kind of see there too. But that's what I've got for today. I can stay on later if anybody needs it for a little bit extra questions for a couple minutes, or if you need anything. But I appreciate you guys as always, and hope that this adds value to your day and be able to make changes and habits.
Absolutely, it did. I appreciate it.
Yes. Lisa,